So, Arthur, let me start with you as the New York trial attorney. What's going to happen to him now?
Well, right now his lawyers should be preparing a substantial sentencing memorandum. I mean, I did a state sentence yesterday, like moments before this verdict. And it's a little like 25, 30, with Trump, maybe a 50-page, like, this is your life, Judge Merchan. These are all the reasons why a disposition, which we would be asking for, of a conditional discharge, meaning there's no jail, there's no probation, there's no community service, there's no fines. The fact that he went through this experience was punishment enough for the crime that was committed. And conditional discharge, the condition is don't get rearrested over the next 5 years and you'll have no further problems. If you do get rearrested in the next 5 years, you come back and you answer to the court, and the court can adjust the sentence appropriately. We would credit the statistics from the state of New York about felony convictions, what the median sentence is. I believe you're going to find that it is a non-jail sentence. If it is, it's very, very, very low. You add in that, forget about the president of the United States, you add in a 77-year-old businessman, never in trouble in his life. You convince the judge that jail is ridiculous, probation is a waste of time, effort, energy, and money, and that really nothing should happen. Simultaneously, you're filing a notice of appeal, and you're preparing the appeal to the appellate division, first department. That whole process of the appeal there will take probably right around 1 year.
Arthur, we did a quick search to see what we could find out about Judge Merchan and his sentencing. And here's just a couple of things that we found. Former Manhattan Assistant DA Stuart Meisner to Politico. Merchan will likely sentence Trump to a term of incarceration. I don't think much, but I think it would be included just to show that no one's above the law. Then there's Peter Tillum, New York defense lawyer, former ADA in New York County DA's office in Manhattan. Judge Merchan is not known as a draconian sentencer. He's not known to be the toughest sentencer in the building. I don't think he'd want to start with this particular case. And then there's Ron Kuby, a veteran New York criminal defense attorney, who says Judge Merchan is known for being a harsh sentencer when it comes to white-collar crimes committed by people who have wealth and privilege and power. It's substantially likely that Merchan will sentence Trump to jail or prison time. So this is where you practice, and this is your bread and butter, this courtroom. What do you think?
Well, I think it's true. He does not have kind of all of the above. I think ultimately he's not going to give him jail time. He's not known as being a draconian sentencer, but he's not known as being as an easygoing guy either. Let's take it a step before that, though, Megyn. Alvin Bragg asks for jail here, which I'm assuming he's going to. It's going to go down as one of the most critical statements I've ever seen. This is an administration, the Bragg administration, that ran on and has functioned as the alternatives to incarceration. Everyone deserves a second chance. Anything but jail on violent crimes, on crimes of people who are predicate felons, meaning they already have a felony conviction. All of a sudden, in this lowest level paper crime, he asks for jail. It is beyond preposterous. But I don't think, look, Merchan showed his cards a tiny little bit during the gag order hearings, where he said, I know you're the former president. I know you're the presumptive nominee. I believe he said, I don't want to put you in jail. So if he's smart, he finds a creative community service alternative where Donald Trump can use his money and his status to make New York a little bit of a better place while he hurts Donald Trump, or makes a little bit of a lesson out of the exposure of it.
This is a guy, Mark, Judge Merchan, Alvin Bragg, who, when he came to office, promised that he wasn't going to prosecute marijuana misdemeanors, prostitution, fare evasion, and instructed prosecutors in his office to avoid seeking jail time for crimes including robbery, assault, and gun possession. There was such a revolt in the city after that, and 2 cops got killed, gunned down in the prime of their lives, that he had to backtrack after blowback from the NYPD on that letter. But he didn't want his ADAs seeking jail time for robbery or assault. How is Alvin Bragg going to saunter into this courtroom and try to get jail time for the former president of the United States on the falsification of business records?
I hope he doesn't. Look, the goal here in this case, in every case, is justice. I love Aristotle's definition of justice. Like cases being treated alike. One would argue there's nothing like this, but the truth of the matter is you can plausibly analogize this case to the other 70-something-year-old first-time offenders. They've never been in trouble before in the legal system. This is their first go-around. This is a white-collar, non-violent offense. I think that in most cases, you would find that the state would ask for probation. Everything Arthur said is accurate. I think it would be very hypocritical to come in and ask for his liberty to be stripped. And also, one other thing, I don't see how they carry that out. I mean, no one really has said exactly how that would work, but he's not going to leave his Secret Service guys behind, and they're not going to remain unarmed. So what, they're going to bring guns into a jail to sit by a cell? Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
Megyn,
Can we talk about probation? Yeah, go ahead, Arthur. And then I want to talk about probation after your point.
About the jail part of it, because during the trial, there was a possibility, right, when he was violating the gag orders. The Department of Corrections, as I believe has already, or I've been told, identified a section of the prison, if he was sent, believe it or not, if he was actually sent to Rikers Island. You know, during the court, they'd be able to keep him in the courthouse, and there are secure facilities there where they could keep him. But if the judge actually sentences him to, let's say, 3 days in jail, which basically means he's got to do a day, they would just find, or they've already identified, like a private area where he could be, but he would be without his phone, without TV, you know, all of those things.
What about Secret Service? Where's Secret Service? In the cell next to him?
Probably sitting right outside the cell, making sure no one's going to bother him, no one's going to harass him.
No guns, no weapons to protect the president.
He would be bored out of his mind. That would be really his punishment, because the last time he didn't have a TV, a phone, a newspaper, or maybe they would give him a newspaper, seriously, or a book, and he would have to sit there for 24 hours.
I don't see how that's done.
Let's talk about probation. Probation, now this is, okay, discussed on The Daily, the New York Times, I mean, the left-wing press. You can actually hear the smiles through the reporting on podcasting and on radio. You can hear the smiles. Go ahead and listen. I dare you to listen to NPR's Up First today. They were giggling like a bunch of middle school girls at a pool party. I mean, it was absurd. Here's the New York Times, The Daily, saying often people on probation have to meet with their probation officer and tell them what they are doing for work. So if he is elected as president, he will have to meet with the probation officer and explain to him, I'm president. Now, does anyone think that's actually going to happen? They go on to say people on probation are not supposed to associate with known felons. So what's going to happen? The probation officer is going to be like, Steve Bannon can't come in here, sir. He's out. Peter Navarro, out. No. You and Michael Cohen having it out, man to man, out. You can't associate with known felons. Sure. And pointing out you have to tell probation officers your known travel plans. And so now you actually have speculation in the press. Trump would be elected as president, and he would not be allowed to travel as our world. This is left-wing fantasy land.
So you don't have to just let them know your travel plans. You have to get approval from the Department of Probation to
That's not happening.
Travel plans. But listen, Judge Merchan, if he does sentence him to probation,
he'll give him permission.
He has the ability to alter all of those qualifications, all of those recommendations, the standard operating things. And look, I just had a guy, and the judge said, I said, Judge, he travels to New Jersey, Connecticut, and Rhode Island for work. Okay, I'll mark the papers. He's allowed to do that without checking in. So if he did ever sentence him to probation, which is such a ridiculous idea, what a waste of time, effort, energy, and money. But if he did do that, he would have to lose his mind, Judge Merchan, to keep that travel restriction on the books. And if he did, I would pray to God that the Department of Probation of the city and state of New York would be smart enough to say, okay, Mr. President, you could travel wherever you want. Just have someone on your staff let us know where you are.
As we draw near another critical election, it's not just about casting your vote. It's about elevating your voice. I want to tell you about the Association of Mature American Citizens, or AMAC. It's more than just a senior discount organization. They unite like-minded patriots committed to preserving our cherished values and actively opposing the leftist agenda. As AMAC's membership grows, Washington listens. Every new member strengthens this movement. If you love America, check out amac.us/Megyn and consider becoming a 4-year member for just $30. AMAC membership gives you access to the AMAC magazine, free Social Security and Medicare guidance, money-saving discounts, trusted news, sweepstakes, and more. Take advantage of their election year sale, 4 years for just $30. By joining the over 2 million members, get your voice heard. Join now at amac.us/Megyn. That's amac.us/MEGYN. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.